Hey, what's up guys, Anson here, bringing you a battle replay commentary on noobsword. My opponent is another 10-star noobsword user named Ernesto. And, my biggest problem with these noobsword core players is, not all of them, but quite a few of them, even though they have superior units, superior skirmish, superior cav, they want to play defensively the entire match. They don't actually want to, fight in a stand-up battle unless they have some type of terrain advantage. So real quick, go ahead and look at my army. You can see I've got only 2 bow warrior monks, 2 Yari Ashigaru, 5 lone swords, 1 is veteran, 4 are completely vanilla. I have 1 matchlock warrior monk, and then I have 2 bow cav and 2 gray guard. It's not a huge army, and you got to consider my infantry component is mainly vanilla. You look at my opponent's army though, he has heavy gunners. I believe he has 3 units of bow warrior monks. There's 1, 2, 3. 3 units of bow warrior monks, and he has quite a few lone swords. Some of these guys have 17 attack, 11 attack. This one has 17, this one has 20 attack, and this one has 23 attack. So, a lot stronger than my 14 attack katana samurai. And he's got heavy gunners, and he's also got quite a few. I believe he has 3 units of Yari Ashigaru, and he may have 3 or 4 units of matchlock, or not matchlock, but Naginata warrior monk cav. So luckily all those Nagi monk cav, I don't believe any of them have war cry. I think they were all vanilla units, but it's still a pretty big pain trying to take on 4 cav units with 2 great guard at one time. So really, I just got to use my bow cav and try to outplay him on the cav ability. And well, you'll see this is a very, very long battle, because even though I approach my opponent, I'm willing to fight out in the open. He does not want to skirmish without a tree advantage, which is pretty serious since I only have 1 matchlock warrior monk and 2 bow warrior monks compared to his 3 bow warrior monks and his heavy gunner. So it's pretty ridiculous, and that's what I'm talking about. That's my huge issue, fighting these noobsword spammers, is even though they have superior numbers and superior skirmishing and cav, they don't want to play without any type of terrain advantage. So it's pretty ridiculous. Alright, so I had this fast forwarded all the way because we are not going to get in any battle anytime soon, and I believe I'm going to go ahead and time lapse this because this was a very long fight. I believe 35 to 40 minutes, somewhere around there. I'm not sure. I'll have to look at the statistics again, but it was an extremely long fight. Here you can see I try to catch him with my Great Guard, and he starts running all his Nagi Monk cav away. But I'm going to go ahead and time-lapse this, and once I get in position and start trying to skirmish, I'll pause it or unpause it, and then, pick up where the fight picks up. Alright, so here I tried to set up a little trap. I have my matchlock warrior monks over here, and I was going to try to get some shots off on his heavy gunners, but unfortunately, because I had these guys hidden, I couldn't put them in a wide formation, and you can see they're in a very shallow formation. They're not going to be able to get off a lot of shots, and as soon as he notices them, he's going to start rushing up some of his infantry units and start trying to shoot these guys down with bows. So I had to run these guys back pretty fast, and I believe I only took off 5 of his heavy gunners. Now at this point in the battle, I tried to go ahead and acquire his heavy gunners with my matchlock warrior monks, but then he started running them away. So since I do have some tree cover, I decided to go ahead and start targeting his lone swords with my bows. I'm not really worried about his bow warrior monks, and I'm just going to try to use my bows to bring down his infantry component as much as possible. He has 5 very well veteran lone sword units, minus this 1 lone sword, but even when he goes to stand and fight, it'll be pretty strong. As strong as my vanillas. But so it was at this point I decided, I'm going to go ahead and start targeting his lone swords and taking care of these guys. And you can see he just does not want to push out of this tree advantage. And you can see over here as well, I maneuvered my Great Guard and 2 of my bow cav around his backside to start, hitting him. Now, a lot of these guys that rule with these, heavy gunners, they like to use them as anti-cav units. So I really can't leave these guys standing too long, especially since my bow cav only have 50 or 150 range. They have the same range as his heavy gunners. So, you know, I'm just gonna try to use these bow cav to start targeting these Nagimonk cav and enticing them and trying to get in a melee with my Great Guard against his cav. But you know, he's playing pretty timid and very non-aggressive. It's just, it baffles me how someone can play with such a strong, you know, army core and then, you know, just want to completely camp it up. But you see I'm trying to target his lone swords over here. Did a fair amount of damage to this one. It's only 79 out of 100 left. And you gotta figure my vanilla samurai units only have 80 units as it is. But I did manage to get my bow cav over here and just trying to get off pop shots on his Nagimonk cav and weaken them and tempt them into coming out and fighting, but he really just does not want to have any part of it. I think he expects me to rush him with my smaller army, and I'm just not going to do that. You can see I'm managed to do some pretty good maneuvering with these bow cav, but you know, it's just hard to take out these heavy gunners when they're in tree cover. And I had to keep running these guys back. Now, if you saw that, he just, you know, fired a shot with his heavy gunner and took out 4 of his cav units. So, you know, thankfully there is some friendly fire there. Not too much to worry about. And I did manage to lure one of these guys out and take him down with my Great Guard. But as soon as I start getting close again, you know, his heavy gunners, you know, start opening fire once again. So, you know, this part of the fight is pretty long and dull, and I try to do a little sneaky maneuvering to get to his heavy gunners, but it just doesn't work out, and I end up losing all these cav units. So essentially after this cav unit fight, all I have left is my one Great Guard unit. But pretty boring stuff here. Just trying to, you know, outmaneuver this guy and keep him busy. But I'm gonna go ahead and do another time lapse. Alright, so here we go again. Now my opponent has moved all of his forces back onto this nice red line hill position. See, he's got all of his swords up here, and he has his 3 bow monks and his heavy gunner down here with his Yariashikaru. Now, you look at his lone swords, I actually did, you know, a fair amount of damage to these guys. He has one more unit that's hiding as well. But I did skirmish that one down to 50, and I believe I skirmished another one down. Pretty nice. And he still has 28 out of 40 heavy gunners. And I was hoping at this point in the battle that they were getting pretty low on ammo, because, you know, he's done a lot of shooting with them, and you know, these units just don't pack a lot. As well, since it's medium unit sizes, you know, skirmishing units tend to run out of ammo faster, you know, the smaller the unit size is. So I'm trying to position my guys over into this hill opposing him, or not hill, but this forested unit. And it was at this point in the battle I decided, you know what, I'm not going to try to waste what's left of my arrows, because I didn't have a lot left, but I had some left. And I decided, you know, I'm just going to go ahead and use my bows and go for his lone swords and try to weaken them as much as possible and sacrifice them. I was hoping, you know, he was getting really low on arrows at this point as well. And I did maneuver the Yariashikaru up here to meat shield and draw some of his arrow fire. But luckily his swords are out here in the open and they're not hidden in these trees. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward this a little bit. You can see I have my Great Guard over here, and I have all my skirmishing forces set up in this forest with my Matchlock Warrior Monks hidden. And it was at this point in the battle I was like, okay, well, I'll, you know, meat shield with these guys, you know, let him waste his arrows. But I realized these guys aren't going to last much longer, and he's still firing tons of arrows at me. So I really didn't know how many he had left at this point. But you see I go ahead and start maneuvering my bow warrior monks forward, and I'm just going to target these swords, just try to get them down as fast as possible. As soon as they go into hiding, I just switch and start acquiring another target. And yeah, I know he's going to stick his bow warrior monks on mine and burn them down, but you know, as long as I can weaken his infantry so it's comparable to mine, that's fine. And he starts rushing in these Naginata monk cav, so I do get these spears over here, and just in time my Matchlock Warrior monks, you know, do some pretty nice damage on him. But you can see I'm about to lose what's left of my bows, And I did get this sword unit down to 64, so you know that was well worth it to sacrifice them to take down his infantry. So, you know, he's still got 3 units of bow warrior monks. He's still got heavy gunners. He's still got cav, and you know he still has all these lone swords. That's wow, 6 units of lone swords. So you know, there's no way I'm going to come out here and you know rush against his army. No way possible. All right, so just a little bit of a waiting game. I guess he's just trying to build up the momentum to actually come down here and attack me. And I have not lost any of my katana samurai units left yet, thankfully. So I do have my Naginata, or my Matchlock warrior monks out front. I was hoping he would rush these heavy gunners forward to hit my general or whatnot, but it doesn't really quite work out that way. You see I have my Grey Guard hidden over here as well. So as soon as he starts rushing these Nagi monks forward, I respond with my Grey Guard. I have my Matchlock warrior monks taking him out, and I see him maneuver his general right here in my line of sight for my Naginata warrior monks, or my Matchlock warrior monks. So I decided, you know what, I'm just going to target the general right away, take him down as quickly as possible, pop my rally, send all my infantry forward. You know, luckily he massed all of his lone swords right here in the middle, so I didn't really have to spread myself out too far. And I pop my general down and stand and fight as well with these Matchlock warrior monks targeting his avatar bodyguard. So you know, I tried to send my Grey Guard in to take him out real quick, but you know those heavy gunners just tore into me, and I cannot believe these guys still have ammo. They've been shooting, you know, throughout this whole entire battle, and it just baffles me as to how they can still have so much. But there goes his general, and when I see him closing with these Matchlock warrior monks, I decided to go ahead and start running these guys back, and I just mass what's left of my 3 katana units down here against, well, his lone sword and these 3 Yari Ashigaru. So the battle is still not won. He knows that Matchlock, you know, can seriously jack him up, and you know I do a risky move. I put my general on a stand and fight to use my Inspire on this katana samurai, and luckily I managed to gain enough ground to stop and shoot him with these Matchlock warrior monks. So you know, as soon as I see his cav units are coming out, I just switch my target acquisition onto them, and as soon as they close, bam, end up routing those guys. And my katanas have 6 and 16 units left, looking pretty weak, and all he has left is his bow. So it was at that point the battle ended, and you know, another noob sword user bites dust. It just baffles me as to how these guys can bring such a superior, you know, skirmishing and cav and melee infantry, but you know, not want to fight on, you know, with less than perfect, you know, terrain conditions. But oh well. I hope you guys enjoyed, and I'll show you the stats. Alright, so here's the results for that battle. You can see I deployed 940 units, and remember this is medium unit size, but 847 losses and 859 kills. Pretty close battle, and you can look and see not really many of my deaths came from friendly fire, but you look at my unit statistics, my Matchlock warrior monks definitely got the most kills. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. Take it easy, and I'll see you next time.